The man standing before them had been alive for over 10,000 years. To keep this secret hidden, John had to relocate every decade. When his friends came to say goodbye, they were surprised to find a painting on the floor that looked remarkably like an original Van Gogh. John quickly explained it was just a gift from a friend. Little did they know that this friend was Van Gogh himself. His friends couldn't understand why John would suddenly walk away from his prestigious, high-paying position at Harvard. He had no choice but to lie, claiming he had a terminal illness and simply wanted to see the world before it was too late. The guests at this farewell gathering were all top scholars in their respective fields, and none of them bought the terminal illness story. That's when a female professor noticed something peculiar. John hadn't aged a day in the 20 years she'd known him. Her observation caught everyone's attention. Rather than addressing it directly, John posed a thought-provoking question. What would a person be like if they had survived from ancient times to the present day? This sparked an intense discussion among the group. One professor offered his perspective. If such a person had lived for 140 centuries, they would possess extraordinary wisdom. Through the ages, they would constantly adapt and evolve, accumulating knowledge to an astonishing degree. But someone raised a valid concern. How could anyone survive such an impossibly long lifespan? A biologist chimed in, explaining that such a person would need exceptional cellular regeneration to stay alive. The average human body can only last about 150 years at most, and most people die from the gradual buildup of toxins. So this individual would also need a superior metabolism. If all these conditions were met, immortality might actually be possible. That's when John dropped the bombshell he claimed to be that immortal person. Everyone stared at him in disbelief, laughing off what they assumed was an absurd joke. But John pressed on, explaining that his need to move every 10 years stemmed from one simple fact: his appearance never changed. The room fell silent as everyone struggled to determine whether this was an elaborate prank or if John was telling the truth. To address their doubts, John began recounting his experiences from ancient times. Once he realized he was different, he became consumed with curiosity about the world. He followed the path of the rising sun, witnessing countless wonders of creation along the way. Eventually, he realized that wandering aimlessly served no purpose. So he settled down and lived as a Sumerian for 3,000 years later, becoming a Babylonian under Hammurabi's code. But his immortality eventually forced him to move on. He ventured into the mysterious land of India, where he crossed paths with the Buddha himself. The Buddha taught him things he had never considered before. Though the Buddha may have sensed there was something unique about John, he never once asked about his secret, not even on his deathbed. By the time John finished his story, his friends could no longer tell whether they had just heard a true account or the delusions of a troubled mind. One archaeologist was convinced John must be suffering from some kind of mental breakdown and called in a psychiatrist to evaluate him. So what do you think, was John spinning an elaborate tale or sharing his own lived experience? This captivating film is called The Man from Earth.